To set up an event in 4H Online, we will go to the Events tab and the Events icon, and then Add Event. We want to give our event a title, and it's typically a good idea to include the year and the county, and then the name of the event. We want to select the index, the appropriate index for the funds to be transferred to. We can leave these next fields as they are, and then the date closed is typically the last day of the event. If it's a one-day event, then it's the day of the event. If it's a multi-day event, it's the last day of the event. These fields are typically not used. These fields designate what counties can register for this event. Normal hierarchy means the host county only. So this event is only open to my county. If I want it to open to other counties, I can click here and then designate which counties I want to open it to, or I can click here and make it available to the entire state. Now, if I want to make it only open to a few counties, I click this box, but then once I complete all the other information, I come down, click Save, and then return to this area, and then there will be a box here that says counties, and then I can click on that and indicate which counties I want to designate. So let's go ahead and make it open to my county only. Selected projects, we typically don't use that field. This grades, it works the same way as the county designation. We click, if we want to open it only to certain grades, we will click there, and then when we're all done, we'll go down, save, and then we can come back and click selected grades. Right now, nothing happens when we click on it. So so that you can see what I'm talking about, we'll click that box. Levels certifying registrations. This is important. We want to make sure that this box is checked. This means that the county, the county office has to approve the registration. If it is unchecked, then that means the registration is approved automatically as soon as the member registers. That can create some problems if it's an event that has a registration fee. If it's approved automatically, it can be really difficult to track who has and has not paid. So on paid events especially, it is very important that this box be checked. The next few fields are typically not used. Select the day and time of the event. This is the start and end date of the event. This is not the registration period. This is the day, start and end of the event. So again, if it's a one-day event, you'll enter the same day in both fields. If it's a multi-day event, then you enter the first and last dates of the event. Times aren't all that important, but you can enter them if you want. Invoice instructions, typically we just use the invoice instructions that are already in 4H Online, but if you have special instructions, invoice instructions that you want printed or to appear on the invoice, then you can type them there. Comments, nobody sees these. These are internal comments, so use them however you wish. Enter the contact information of the event, and email address and web address. Click Save. Now you'll notice that once we click Save, we need to enter valid dates. Once we click Save, first of all, you'll notice that it adds an additional button here, and we'll come to that, back to that. But let's go back up to our selected grades, because we want this event open only to certain grades. So we want to make it open to 9th through 12th grade, update grades. So that's how that field is used. So at that point, we then want to click this button, which is Add Registration. After clicking the Add Registration button, it makes visible a few more tabs here along the top. So the one we want to go to right now will be the registration types. and then add registration type. What this is who is eligible, adult or youth, who is eligible to register, or who do we want to register for this event. So if we want youth to register, we would make this a youth registration type, and we can designate the maximum number of registrations, or we can leave it unlimited. We typically don't use early and late registrations, but you can if you wish. And this area here is the area that we enter the registration period and the registration amount. So if we want registration to start today and we want it to end on May 31st, and we want our registration for youth to be $15, and then click Save. Now, some events will also have registrations for adults, and if that is the case, then you'll add an adult registration type, and again, the maximum number, start and end dates that you want the adults to register, and the cost for the adults. Let's say theirs is $5, and Save. So once we've set up our registration types, we want to then move to custom fields. Now, custom fields is where our registration form begins to take shape. So it's a good idea to have in mind what questions we want asked, what information we want to gather on our registration form. So custom fields, add custom field. There's no right or wrong way to set up a registration form, so set it up as you wish, but typically I enter the first line, give it the name of our event again. And then it's a group, which is basically a header. And we want to make our header, our group, visible to both adults and youth. We then do custom fields, add custom field, and we're going to add a line underneath that. So we're going to, our next field is, we're going to say, select the camp you wish to attend. Something to that effect. We want to make this, again, visible to our youth. And I want to make it a radio button. The difference between a radio button and a checkbox. A radio button, on the registration form, the member can only select one option. So on my form, I'm going to give them 4 options, and I want them to be able to choose only one of those options. If I want them to be able to choose multiple options, then I would select checkbox. So I'm going to do radio button and make it visible. And then I'm going to go to that line and I'm going to edit that line. And here's where I give the member the options from which they can choose. So we're going to have a June 5 morning session. And here's the maximum number that I can take in this session. And it's unlimited, we'll say. And we want to add option, and we're going to say June 5 afternoon session. It's unlimited, and add option. And then we're going to say a June 12 morning session. And a June, let's say 19 morning session. And add option. At any time we can preview, up here in the right corner, preview what our registration form looks like. So here we can see that the member, when they register, they are going to select the desired camp, and they can choose only one camp. Again, if I wanted them to be able to choose more than one, then we would make these checkboxes. So let's go back to our registration form. We want to add another event. Let's say I want to add t-shirts. So custom fields, add custom field. And I'm going to again make this a group. And that's, again, a group is a header. And I'm only going to offer t-shirts to youth. So I'm going to make this group item visible only to youth. So the adults, when they register, they're not going to see t-shirts as an option. So save and close, and then I'm going to go into the t-shirt, I don't want to do that. I want to go to custom fields, add custom field, and here I'm going to say select your t-shirt size. Careful how you type that, t-shirt size. And it is a non-fee because we are going to include the t-shirts in our registration fee. If we wanted to charge extra for t-shirts, we could change it to a fee, and then it would charge. And then the t-shirt size, it can be set up however you want, a checkbox or a drop-down menu. I'm going to go ahead and choose a drop-down menu so that you can see various options. And we're going to make this visible only to youth, again, because we don't want our adults to see and order t-shirts. So I'm going to go in, and now I'm going to edit the t-shirt line, and I'm going to enter the available options or sizes. And then save and close. And again, let's go preview, and you can see that for the adults, they only get an option to select the class. They don't have visibility to t-shirts. But when I select the youth, then they have the option of selecting a class as well as a t-shirt. So once our registration form is complete, it contains everything that I want it to contain, I will go to the Events tab, and I will change the status to active. Active, and then scroll down and click Save. So active will make the event visible on 4-H Online on the date that we designated that our registration dates will start. So if we designated that it will start today, this will be visible today on 4-H Online. If we designated that we don't want our event registration to start until next week, then the event registration would not be visible until next week. But it is important that this be active, otherwise members will not see it. So whenever if you do ever need to get into your event and make edits, you'll first need to make this testing. Scroll down, click Save, go in, make the edits to your registration form, and then when you're done, come back and make sure that you change your event to active and click Save, and then it'll again be visible. So that's it. I hope this has been helpful.